The villages outside of the major cities have really taken the brunt of the Russian bombardment, often Russian occupation. There are stories of rape, of tormenting local villages, murdering local populations.
We, of course, have seen war crimes and crimes against humanity on a vast scale inside Ukraine, conducted by Russian forces.
Оскільки, наприклад, ми не можемо знайти всіх клієнтів, так? Ми досі до тієї пори не з усіма соціальними працівниками, які працюють в області, змогли вийти на зв'язок. Оскільки, багато з них були в окупації, так? І просто в них російські солдати позабирали або познищували.
Russia terrorists are shooting at our hospitals is undisputable. It's already 576 healthcare facilities that are damaged and at least 101 completely destroyed.
Having seen some of the facilities myself in the past weeks, which some don't have windows, but also we have primary care centers, which basically are abolished. The places where people went before having COVID vaccination, now basically there are no even walls.
The problem is not getting those medications into the country, it's distributing them. And we know from other examples, from looking at the medical supplies that the WHO has been able to get into the country, for example, that only some fraction of them are reaching their intended destinations.
The problem will continue as access to medications and supplies and ability to travel in conflict areas continues to deteriorate.
I would characterize the new phase of the war as one of attrition warfare.
In some senses, at least in the near term, the sanctions have produced a rally effect among Russians.
Right now, the war is quite popular, but the Russian people haven't yet fully sacrificed.
The war at 3 months stretches into the distance. Kyiv has survived. The nation, the economy, the society, all fragile, are surviving, buoyed by massive external support. A long and bloody war of attrition is now unfolding in the east and the south. Partition may follow. Ukraine's western border remains open, but Russia blockades Ukraine's southern access to the sea. A race is underway to see if massive Western military assistance can arrive in time to permit Ukraine to thwart Putin. The United States has committed, in just 2 months, $54 billion in assistance, half of it military support. Victory Day, Putin had little to celebrate. He can't win, he can't lose, he can't bargain his way out of this box.
I felt very, very sad when Russia invaded Ukraine, because I know its impact and devastation.
But Putin retains the capacity to destroy. In 5 years in Syria, he attacked 600 medical facilities. He accomplished the same in 3 months in Ukraine. The leadership of the World Health Organization has roundly condemned Russia's behavior.
So we continue to call on the Russian Federation to stop this war.
What we have been witnessing since 24th of February is there is a lot of unpredictable. We have seen the missile strikes to number of strategic assets. We have felt it ourselves in Lviv, in Kiev, in other places where we never expected it. So nobody knows where it goes, and nobody knows when it ends.
Attacks on healthcare in the context of Ukraine and in so many other contexts from a WHO perspective, when those attacks are intentional, when those attacks are used as a part of the tactic of war to terrorize communities, that is the essential objective in these situations. And it is very clear in international law that it is not only the responsibility of conflicting parties not to attack healthcare facilities, but to deliberately not target them. So this discussion we have around collateral damage or accidents, we have to ask our questions: how many accidents can you have before you are in a situation where it is completely and utterly unacceptable?
They targeted healthcare facilities and medics. And these high numbers, it couldn't be just a mistake. So it's always targeted attack.
Протитуберкульозний диспансер, так, повністю зруйнований, повністю. Його евакуювали в перші ж дні, він відразу потрапив під обстріли, бо він на околиці міста. Околиці повністю зруйновані. Взагалі, якщо ми кажемо про руйнування, то околиць в місті немає. Все зруйновано по колу. І в центрі, взагалі по місту було багато ракетних і бомбових ударів, теж зруйновано, але околиць немає зовсім зараз.
This could be a transformative moment. The record of international justice on attacks on healthcare, which are, of course, war crimes, is close to zero. There hasn't been a prosecution in more than 25 years. So this could be a transformative moment for justice if there's follow-through on prosecutions.
11 weeks into this crisis, we've probably accumulated more evidence and data to underlie the case for war crimes and crimes against humanity than we've seen in any moment in history in terms of just the speed with which we're able to collect this. And that's not just what the Ukrainians are doing or the United States or others are doing. It's also what we're uncovering because of the work of journalists. And even though the United States is not party to the ICC, we are exploring ways that we were going to be helping provide evidence and support to the ICC, as we have done in other circumstances, as they are trying to build cases of war crimes and crimes against humanity.
I think we're entering, or we already have entered, a very brutal stage of this war, that Russia, realizing that it couldn't just waltz into Ukraine, has now recognized that its main advantage is, I think, its brutality, its willingness to target civilians, its willingness to employ lots of munitions, dumb munitions, to target population centers. So I think we're in a very bloody period for this conflict, especially as Russia begins to try to throw its mass into this fight, to use the manpower that it has, the resources and capabilities, that it's going to concentrate them, I think, more effectively, and we're seeing that.
While Russia has failed spectacularly at what Putin described as his strategic intention, which was to overthrow the government of Kyiv and seize the capital, he has achieved something that it will make it incredibly difficult to find any kind of end to this war, and that is to seize a huge swath of land from the Donbass to Crimea that creates a so-called land bridge from Russia to Crimea, but more to the point, cuts off Ukraine from itself in the south and southeast. And we simply can't tell that story because we have no access to those places.
The fact of the matter is that there are millions of people trapped inside Ukraine, and we have no idea how they're doing. I don't think we'll know for quite a long time exactly what the full impact of all of this is.
From inside of Ukraine, I fear considerably for the Ukrainian people. There's a blockade that has been reasonably effective at preventing a lot of material from both leaving and coming into Ukraine, so exports and imports. One thing that remains an upside, a little bit of a silver lining, is the Russians are not able to stop the movement of not just military supplies, but also humanitarian assistance coming in from Ukraine's border on the west with NATO. So the fact that we've got an open border does alleviate some pressure and provide some opportunity to provide humanitarian assistance to the Ukrainian population. But a prolonged war, as this looks like we are now entering a new phase, will be punishing for the Ukrainian population.
The human price of war is stark and is expected to worsen even as normality returns in Kyiv. Society is profoundly disrupted. 6 million refugees, 7 million internally displaced, an unknown number diverted into Russian infiltration camps. The economy is expected to contract by half in 2022. The transatlantic alliance holds, though it is under stress. As the price tag escalates, as inflation and energy prices soar, as food insecurity worsens, and as Europe braces for another 2 to 3 million refugees. The war is globalizing. It imposes mounting food and energy shocks on Africa and the Middle East. Every day brings discovery of new mass graves. Amid this tragedy, an historic opportunity is emerging to bring Russian war criminals to justice. Ukrainian resilience and solidarity remain the bedrock of Putin's defeat.